Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Low Hard Press Show. My name is JC out here in Atlanta, Georgia. Joined today by my co-host Jeff out of beautiful Amber City. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. I feel like you're staring right at me, looking into that camera right now. But it's a good day. I'm ready to talk some golf. Played out at old Lock and Tenna today. If you know, you know. It's a very gimmicky course, always wet, no matter what time of year. But it was fun to play somewhere else. Got a little workout in, drinking a few Brooksies, a little ultra life, living that 95 calorie life here tonight.
So, Jesus Christ, Jeff. I mean, what life is too short, buddy. You're drinking the little Brooksies. Hopefully it'll keep you up on your feet, unlike him. But Lock and Tenna, that's good, man. I heard you made a couple birdies. It's Georgia is changing. We all of a sudden went from like this burnt out Bermuda that was just completely dry, looked like shit, rained 2 days, and then all of a sudden we got green grass, which just is absolutely amazing to go play, not on dead shit, which is I didn't know if I was going to be that excited about, but looking forward to playing some golf this week.
Well, you better. Hey, I'm going to try to get out and just keep playing different courses. You know, the old Castle Oaks is under the knife for the next couple of weeks with punching green, so we got to just venture out a little bit.
It's one of those things you got to venture out and mix it up a little bit. It's unfortunately our golf course they punched greens for the last couple of weeks, which just no one gives a shit. Anyone listening to the show, they don't give a shit us bitching about playing on greens. They want to know about the Honda Classic, Jeff. I mean, this is the fucking week where you look at yourself and go, am I even a golf fan, or I just nap on the couch? Because good God, my wife had to wake me up like 3 or 4 times during the fucking Honda Classic to just be like, hey, I think you need to watch this stuff. And sure as shit, you don't. You really don't. I don't even know why they had the event this week.
Well, I kind of did the same thing on Sunday. I knew I had a little brunch birthday party to go to during the day. So I recorded golf. I didn't watch it, didn't look at my phone, came home, after a few Bloody Marys and screwdrivers and sat on the couch, decided to watch the final round. And I don't know, I maybe made it 3 holes and I fell asleep. It was boring. It was bad.
The product was just horrific. I mean, you and I could have produced a better product out there on the golf course, either playing and or announcing it. It was one of those events that all they kept talking about was the stupid bear trap and this how hard the golf course is. And then you looked at the field and you didn't it was like a senior tour event. I mean, you had all the greats. You had all the greats being followed by a bunch of fans. That's the only reason fans even showed up. They're following Phil Mickelson, which was cool. Steve Stricker, Ricky Fowler was out there with his cavity back irons. Zach Johnson, Jimmy Walker, all great things for the weekend. Except that the leaderboard was they were nowhere near any of those guys. So it was rather rough watching.
That's what they needed. They needed a guy like Phil to make the move up the leaderboard and create a little excitement and a little viewership because, Aaron Wise, Matt Jones, those guys up at the top falling apart. I mean, Aaron Wise was 13 under after 2 rounds. He finished at 4 under. I mean, the guys fell apart on the weekend. It made it hard to watch on the weekend, and especially when a guy wins by 5. It's not even close. There is no drama coming down the stretch. That makes for a little siesta time.
Dude, pull out the cocktails, grab the Red Bull, because shit, you're going to sleep if you're not watching it, because it was so boring. And don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from Matt Jones. I mean, he gets the win. He shoots 12 under, beats everyone by 5. I mean, goes out there and shoots 61 on day 1 or 62 on day 1, puts up a great score. His second victory over 7 years. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking away from his capability. I think he was the only one excited about even playing the fucking Honda Classic, because it just from start to finish, Bones and fucking John Woody out there on the golf course, they could care less. All they wanted to do was fucking have a cocktail. Instead, they get to follow fucking JB Holmes and Matt Jones around the golf course at just a snail pace. JB Holmes legitimately needs to be kicked off the golf course.
Well, that's one of our biggest pet peeves is slow golf. Shit, Jack Nicklaus has been talking about this for years, trying to play ready golf, speed up golf. He was talking about play 9 holes. They got the little push for that. Dude, you're on tour. It's a 2-man group. Fucking pick a club. Be ready to fire. Matt Jones, though, on the other hand, that guy, I was waiting for a practice swing half the time, and he's pulling the trigger. The camera wasn't even ready.
If you're going to teach anyone to play golf, this is how you fucking teach how to play golf. Just watch Matt Jones. Literally, he is pinned up next to a fucking pine tree, and it looks like he's going to take, a couple practice swings, get comfortable around the tree. No, he just walks up there and fucking smacks it. He about takes himself out with the tree. But if I'm gonna teach my kid how to play golf, that's how you should play golf. It was quite exciting, to be quite honest with you, to see that. But other than that, I mean, besides the storyline of Brandon Hagee, making it from the alternate list to make it into a second place finish. Other than that, what other storyline did we have? I mean, there was no storylines. There was no drama. Like, they tried to create this drama of oh, the greens are really hard. The wind's blowing. It's the fucking bear trap, which, by the way, Jeff, we have to apologize to our listeners. There are Florida black bears, I learned. Okay. I did a little Google search. There are bears in Florida. Not many of them.
Legit bears? Or
I swear to God, legit bears. Yep. Florida black bear. Yes.
No way.
The golden bear is not the only bear down in Florida, I guess. So it's to be quite honest with you, is the PGA Tour setting themselves up for failure and setting their sponsors up for failure? Because if I was Honda, I'd be pissed. You just forked out tens and tens of millions of dollars to essentially have a golf tournament with a bunch of guys, there that you would actually recognize, and it's not a snooze fest. I mean, you just blew all this money, and sure shit, it's a second tier, third tier event after the Players Championship. This event could have easily been just a week off. I would appreciate it. I would have loved a week off. It would have been great. I'd have wrote less newsletters. I mean, probably played more golf this weekend. I mean, this event's got to go away.
They do, I think, need to trim some of the events, throughout the year, because it gets too much when you're playing back to back to back to back weeks. And you're right. If I'm a sponsor and you're rolling the dice, when you pay that money to host that tournament and put your name on it, you roll the dice that the big names are going to be there and the guys aren't going to back out. And whether or not they do, you still pay the same price. It's not like, well, Phil, Brooks, Tiger, nobody's here. We'll cut, your price in half. No, you still pay the same price. It's a gamble. And some of those tournaments are they're tough. They're tough to watch, just like this week. I'm looking forward to the match play, though, because it's a little different format, different setup, and you got some of the big names back.
Well, yeah, you do. And the thing that I don't understand about the PGA Tour is simply they just literally had their Super Bowl. Right? The Players Championship was the fucking Super Bowl of the PGA Tour. It's the Players Championship. They give out all this fucking money. JT's put on this pedestal. They immediately insert him into a bunch of shitty commercials that were aired again this weekend, which I thought we were going to have fucking at least a week off of that shit. But that was just utterly fired up. The machine is just pumping out content via JT. Apparently they're not dropping him as a sponsor, but you would think after the Super Bowl, the NFL doesn't have a fucking another game, right? Shorten this season, give ourselves a break. I would think you would end the Players Championship as the Tour Championship, and then you would take the winter off and give us a little break, because we don't need any more fucking Honda Classics. We just don't. It's not entertaining. It's sleep-worthy golf. You're bringing down your fucking sponsors. You're pissing the world off. And I need to know, Jeff, would you even want to play this golf course? 272 golf balls were dumped in the water this week. There's no reason I would even want to play it. I could drive by it, but I'm not playing it.
No, and I like I said, I didn't watch a lot of it. I was busy this week during the work week, but it didn't look like it was that great of weather this week for them. That typical bright sunshine days. It looked like it was pretty windy. Yeah, a lot of balls in the water. I'm not paying to play there. I mean, I think if you brought me to the tournament, I'd try the old bear trap out, but I'm not going to put that on the bucket list. Maybe if I get to play with Jack.
Yeah,
if Jack wants to play around, I'll make it happen.
After our hot or not, I don't think Jack is ever playing with you. You were definitely the nicer of the two, but I don't think Barbara's approving the foursome. But I wanted to ask you, because this television coverage was just a struggle, and sometimes we give CBS, NBC a lot of shit about how they present the product. The thing I wanted to know and kind of to get your opinion was, if you have nothing to talk about, what else are they going to talk about? Paul Azinger, just all he talked about was the bear trap. Bones was just telling stories about stuff that wasn't even involving the tournament. It just, how can we help the coverage out and give them something else to talk about?
I give Bones credit. He was trying, lucky for him, he has years and years of history playing at these events with Phil. to draw back on to give us some type of entertaining content. Paul Azinger needs to go. NBC needs to go. I can't wait for CBS to come back. We flip flop on this back and forth, but I'm looking forward to Nick Faldo, good old Jimmy and Amanda Balionis. Like, I can't wait, dude. This Azinger, just seeing his face, I just want to smack him.
It's so horrible. I had a question in my notes that I was going to ask you. Which announcer's better, Azinger or Faldo? And I think you just answered it. I mean, Nick
Faldo times 10
is the better guy. It's just, Paul's really bad. And even his buddy, even his fucking little, his friend, Dan Hicks, horrible. Not good. It just, he's like a shitty version of, Joe Buck. I mean, right? Like, I would rather have Joe Buck. I'd rather have Tony Romo on the broadcast than Dan Hicks and Paul Azinger. I mean, hell, why not this is my crazy idea. If I was PGA Tour commissioner, I mean, Phil Mickelson floated out all of these like ideas of him being an announcer. Just fire the NBC cast, okay? Bring us on as on-course reporters, and let us pick out one of the females, and then just get Phil Mickelson and Bones in the booth, like 100% of the time. Right? Like, would that not be the best?
Well, it would. And to answer your question about what do they do with all this dead time where they're giving you nonsense and useless facts, that's where, when it comes to miking up the players and the caddies, use that stuff. Tape delay it a little bit so you can edit it if you need to, but use it. I'd much rather hear about them reading an important putt and what they think it's going to do before he hits it than get, Azinger's view from the booth. Or Nota Begay's, I've watched this one all day, Johnny, on 17. It's got to go right. Everybody's missed it low. I don't care. I want to hear what the guys are thinking, right? I want to hear their yardages. Bryson, is, as much as people don't like him, like hearing him and his caddy go back and forth with percentages and wind and altitude. And I like that stuff, because it's what me and you do with each other on the course. We got a little rangefinder to help us out, but fill dead air with that kind of stuff more than the announcers.
Because they're bringing no value. It's absolutely like, it's just not good content. And the more I think about it, like you have 270 some fucking golf balls are flying into the pond. Turn those mics up. I would love to hear the reactions and the complaininess and the bitchiness about hitting another golf ball in the water. I mean, because you're not the only one, but I mean, just post up 3 microphones on the tee box at the Bear Trap and just let the announcers go to lunch and just turn it up. Let's see what happens. Let's see where, it goes. Do we need a subscription model where, we can just tune in for the X-rated version? So, Justin Thomas feels a little more comfortable screaming out obscenities, but
I'm guessing that the trials and these tournaments where they have mic'd these guys up, I'm guessing that it hasn't gone very favorable for the PGA Tour because they haven't given us much, and they haven't made it a big deal like I thought they might. Because they're so into protecting their brand and protecting themselves and making it still seem like it's, just this old school gentleman's game. It is not. It is not that. If you come out to the local muni and the local golf courses around here, it is shit talking, fist fights, beer drinking. Like, that is the golf of today. Music blasting, guys driving the carts like idiots. You enjoy that. That's what you go. It's not the gentleman's game anymore. It's just not.
It's absolutely not. and a few gentlemen to wrap up the Honda Classic. I mean, I already forgot the guy's name. I mean, good for him. He, Matt Jones, he gets the victory, big check. He gets to play the Masters here in a couple of weeks, and in Kapalua, which is going to be awesome, I guess, for him. Let's move on. I mean, let's put a cap on the Honda Classic, and hopefully we never have to talk about it ever again.